Hello. Okay, so half dried hair, but we're gonna make it work. I think it looks good. This is what you're gonna see, so whatever. Okay, we are going to talk about therapy. Who needs to go? Have you been? Have you not been? Do you know someone that goes? Do you know someone that's benefited from it? Do you know someone that's not benefited from it? Okay, there's a lot of talk about therapy, and it's become as commonplace as just saying, yeah, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to the dentist, I'm going to the doctors. I have to, like, it's become a very normal appointment, whether you're going in office or you're conducting the appointment from home, like meeting your therapist online over a call. It's become very, very common. Now, the thing is that there's two sides to this coin, okay? Back in the day when, our parents were fairly young, in their 30s and their 40s, therapy was around, but it was not so encouraged, nor was it affordable. It's still not affordable, to be very honest. Like, I don't think I can pay that kind of money out of pocket to go and see a therapist weekly because my insurance doesn't cover it. Very few insurance companies cover mental health and things like that, and psychiatry, psychology, counseling. They don't really cover those areas, just like dental. They don't cover, so you got to pay out of pocket. Anyway, so I remember my parents talking to their closest friends, talking to their coworkers, even talking to our neighbors about what was going on in their lives. And these people used to become very solid confidants, and they used to become their, how do I say, the person that would advise them. And why this worked was because all of these people saw them every single day. They had also known them for a fair bit of time. So think about somebody that knows you for 20 years. Think about someone that knows you in the workspace. I'm not saying that you need to go and share your issues with people at work. That's not what I'm saying. But think about people that have known you over time and that know you long term. Like, think about those people, okay? They know the actual Benzi, or whoever you are. They know my quirks. They know my habits. They know my history. They know my past. They know a lot of details, and they can kind of guide me based on that. Now, when you go to a therapist, you are essentially paying someone to listen and to guide you and counsel you, which I have a lot of respect for. I know one or two counselors who, have made a huge difference in people's lives, but that's not to say that every single counselor can do that, or every single psychologist can do that, or every single psychiatrist can do that. The difference is that a psychiatrist can prescribe you medication for the various issues that you're going with. So if you've got ADHD, they can prescribe you medication. If you've got depression, if you've got, insomnia related to depression, and so on. There's a lot of medical, kind of function behind that. That being said, I also know people who have not benefited from this. I know a friend that works for the NHS in the United Kingdom, and she is a doctor, and she really, really wanted to get some guidance and counseling for her own life and issues and stuff. And she said that it was really hard for her to find somebody that understood her. I think she went through a couple of counselors before giving up, because she felt like she wasn't being heard. She also felt like she couldn't be, herself with them. She felt like she was being told to do things that weren't aligned with the issue at hand. Okay, and I quote, one counselor told her to go hiking. Okay, and this is somebody that, the issue that she had, the kind of diagnosis or the treatment for that wasn't to go hiking. So there's that. Another thing you risk doing is you risk projecting yourself as this one person that's alone to the therapist without a background, without any friends, family, like they know everyone in your life through you and through your lens and how you see them. So whatever you go and tell them, oh, my husband did this to me, you know, I'm stressed. Oh, my boss did this to me, I'm not feeling good, should I quit? Oh, my parents were toxic, my siblings are not nice to me, my friends have betrayed me, all kinds of things. They're hearing this only from your perspective, which is a very good recollection of, you know, your events. I'm sure that you're going to tell the therapist everything from your perspective, but there's always two sides. You need to know the bigger picture. The counselor, or you know, the person in charge who's counseling you, is going to treat you based on what you're telling them. Nothing before, nothing after. Let's say you meet them on 15th of July. They don't know this patient pre 15th July. They don't know what you were up to on 25th June unless you tell them. They don't know what you were doing last year at the same time unless you tell them. And all of that also, not to mention, it's time consuming, and our long-term memory remembers things based on the last memory we had. This is research. Based on the last memory we had of that event, that's how we remember it. So it can change over time. If you tell somebody something that happened just 30 seconds ago, it will be pretty accurate. But if you tell somebody something that happened 2 years ago, you're going to skip and miss details that are crucial to them knowing the event or them knowing what happened, so to say. Does that make sense? Anyway, money. It's very expensive. Therapy is super expensive. Where I live, it's upwards of $250 an hour for a very skilled, experienced psychiatrist, someone that can medicate your issues. If you're just looking for a life coach, and if you're looking for a guidance counselor, they're pretty expensive too. Like, you know, if you want to go in for a session every week, it can hurt the bank. Okay, it's not easy, and it's not cheap, and it's not meant to be cheap, because these are people that they've studied very hard. They have worked very hard to garner these skills, and to be, you know, to be able to say that I can advise you based on what I've learned, you know. Several studies, several cases, case studies, patients, and just years and years of, you know, experience brings them to that point. But I would recommend that if you cannot afford therapy, if you don't want to go into therapy because you're shy or you're afraid or you don't really want to talk to a stranger, start by, you know what really helped me? You know what honestly really helped me? Making videos. It's like I can talk so freely. And if you look at my YouTube bio, or like my description, it says, finally a platform where I can express myself freely, which is true. It's worked for me a lot. Like, this has been very therapeutic for me. I get to say a lot of things that I don't really open up about to other people, and I don't feel judged while doing so. So maybe try that. There's always journaling. If you don't have anyone to talk to, this is if you don't have anyone to talk to about whatever you're going through, okay? If you do have people to talk to, family members, friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, or husband, approach them. Think of them as secret keepers, and people that can hold that valuable and very precious information about you, and not judge you. But you have to show some discernment and kind of see who's going to judge you, who's not going to judge you, how are they going to take this information, because everyone has secrets. How can we be sure that when we're telling somebody what we've been through, that they're not going to misuse it? You know, you got to be really sure. And I don't really believe in oversharing either with like friends and other people. So I'll tell my mom, okay, because there's very little that she doesn't know, and she knows me in a way that whatever she tells me as her opinion or as her advice will be very unbiased. you need somebody who's unbiased, okay? Don't feel disheartened. Don't feel like you're not in the cool gang if you're not getting therapy or you're not able to afford it at this point in time. That's where community comes in. Where I live, there aren't really any anonymous groups where you can go and sit down and chat to people about your life and things, but I know that there are anonymous groups in the world where you can go and share your problems absolutely free of cost and just sit and hear other people talking about similar incidents, and while sharing your own. You don't even have to give your real name. You don't have to go more than once if you don't feel like. So there's different forms of therapy, and it's overrated to say that just going to some office to sit down and do all of that is the only way, you know. um, Millions of people have a lot to say. They have a lot of trauma to kind of wade through, deal with, and they're doing it on their own without any help because they just simply cannot afford it in some form or the other. Time, money, availability, courage, they don't have that. You know, they can't afford it in that way. So don't feel disheartened, and don't feel like you don't belong if you haven't taken part in this new social kind of trend almost of having a therapist and going into therapy. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. It was a really short one. I had this point in my mind for so long, so I had to talk about it. But yeah,